Now I'm live. Thought I was live before. I was talking to myself. All right. See who else is going to show up, if anybody. I assume it's on YouTube as well as the StreamYard because I see my YouTube icon up there. So anyone wants to come on board, let me put up the link. There's the link. Hopefully it went on YouTube as well as the StreamYard. People can see it. And we say evening. Oh, Willie C.K., James. Got a couple guys there. What's going on, people? I just figured I'd chime in. If anyone wants to join in, click on the StreamYard link, and you'll be on. So James knows about what I worked on because I was talking to him about it earlier. Stanley, welcome. How you doing, buddy? But one of my favorite things in the world, a Poulon product. There's a guy, Kevin Bolin, who's very, very good with the small engines. He did a big rant on anything versus a Poulon yesterday or today, talking about he'd rather work on anything but a Poulon. And I'm starting to feel the same way, even though Poulon's owned by Husqvarna. But I had a weed stick. One of those things where you can add anything onto the end of it. It doesn't have to be a weed stick. It could be anything. Where's your paycheck? You got to earn it, buddy. I haven't had that many streams. Call the other guy. He's got a bigger check. Anyway, Allie, how you doing, pal? Anyway, so a guy at work dumped off this weed stick, which is basically just like a half shaft thing, like a Combi Steel or something, but cheap. Craftsman garbage, cheap. He said, can you get it to run? Okay. So I take it out of my truck. It's around 4 o'clock. I open up the gas tank. You can see that the fuel filter is broken off. The lines are all messed up. Okay. So I see a green liquid in there. And I'm saying, I think it used to be fuel. So you smell it, varnish. Okay. So I mix a bunch of old gas I had in there, shake it all up, and I pour it into a little regatta container. And man, did it stink. And the filter comes out and everything else, all the little pieces of line and everything else, and it's, well, this is going to be fun. So I flush out the gas tank a couple times with fuel, take the carburetor off. I know where all the lines go because half the time with primer bulbs and everything else, you don't even know where half the lines go sometimes. So anyway, made a note of that, made a little note to myself. Take the carburetor apart, all varnish inside, not almost like thick green goo, not even like gas consistency, just goo, So I take the gaskets, diaphragms apart, clean everything out. I don't want to put any pressure on the check valves to blow any of that stuff. It was a Zama, Chinese carb, so I clean that all up. So I cut my fuel lines, everything, get all the fit. All right. I go to push the primer bulb. The primer bulb's leaking, a little leak. Okay. So I change the primer bulb. All right. So now I've put a new fuel filter in, change the fuel lines, change the primer bulb, put it all back together. Okay. Go for that first pull. It's one of those, they call them easy start. I call them not so easy start. Go to pull it, rope comes out. Now I'm like, oh, perfect. I just spent 45 minutes getting the thing to where it's perfect, and now the rope comes out. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these Poulon Craftsman trimmers. The only way to restring them, you have to take the rod off, the whole bar. You have to take the handle off with the trigger control, throttle, and ignition. Take that off. Then you got to take the clutch. There's a clutch on there, okay? You have to take the clutch off, but to take the clutch off, you have to take the drum off. Now, the drum is welded with this tube coming up about 2 inches. Well, you have to get a bit to go inside that tube to unscrew the drum from the crankshaft. So, of course, what size is it? 4.5 millimeter, okay? Of course. So I go in there and trying to turn it, and you can just feel that it rounded off. So I'm like, I'm screwed. I can't do anything. What am I going to do? So I'm getting in there with an LED light and a magnifying glass. I'm trying to look in there and see what the heck it is. It looked like it might have been Allen, might have been a Torx. I couldn't remember the last time I did one of those. So I'm like, what the heck is it? Well, it turns out after farting around for 25 minutes with 4 millimeter, 4.5 millimeter, 1/8, 5/32, all different ones, Torx and this and that. I look inside. I had a little magnifier, and I go, wait a minute. It also has like a slot in there too, like for a flat screwdriver. Oh, wait a minute. So I go in there with a flat bit, cracked it, was able to loosen it up, take the drum off. Hallelujah. So I take that off, and now you got to take the clutch out. So you got to put nylon rope into the cylinder, okay? Lock up the piston. Take it. The way these clutches are, there's two little half moons. You take a needle nose plier and then an adjustable wrench, and you just turn it counterclockwise to come off. And did that, took it off. Then you got to take 4 more screws off, the plug wire off, the throttle shaft wire off, the kill wire off. All this for pull rope. Anyway, take that all off. Now sitting on my stone wall outside. Aluminum housing that's inside holding the recoil together. And you rewind it 5 or 6 times till it doesn't rewind anymore. Put a clamp on it so it holds it. What was nice, though, is I was able to take the pull cord, the end that snapped off, cut it, put a match on it, get it nice and pointy. Go in from the other side. All right, I pulled the cord when it broke right out, pulled the handle right off it. So now I had a cord with a knot on one end and a sharp end on another. So I was able to stick that sharp end in the pulley, go around up through the grommet, pull it, and the knot that was already on there from the handle worked perfect on the pulley. All right, and then I attached the handle, let it go, perfect. Now it's all done. So the recoil's done. So I got the recoil done. I said, all right, now it's time to put it back together. So I put it all back together. I didn't put the shaft on it yet. Basically, it's just this little head sitting there. And I said, let me see if this thing, Tampa Bay, Wills, everybody, I have this head of a trimmer, just a head with the kill wire hanging out and the throttle cable hanging out. And I was like, well, let me try and start this thing. Now, the carburetor was full of varnish for God knows how long. So who knows if it's even going to work? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, pulling, finally kicks. I said, oh, kicks. So choke it up a little bit, boom, boom, starts to run, I was able to get it to run a little bit. Then I said, screw it. I took a hemostat, pulled up the throttle cable, locked it in full throttle, and just went to town. And cool. Let it run for a few minutes, put my tack on it. Wasn't over revving or anything. I said, all right. So I let it run in a little bit, maybe flush a little bit of that nice, fresh canned fuel I use, no ethanol, through the carb. And, Will, I definitely want to see that at the get-together, Will. You're 61272. Anyhow, so I got to send a video out to my buddy James, who's on here. Good now, but like my friend Kevin Boland says, Poulan's, the cheap. What's it worth? Now I literally have 2 hours into this thing that's worth what, $40? All right. But when it's someone you work with, a friend, this and that, whatever. I mean, I do it because of the challenge and all that. Yeah. Okay. But now I have something that's going to run good. He's going to be happy. He's a steward at work. So always good to have a steward in your back pocket. Right. But anyway, nice to make friends and all. He's been decent to me, so I can't complain. But now I'll bring that back to work, probably Thursday. What am I going to charge? I don't even know. $30, $40 am I going to charge, And what are they? I will put a video. Well, what I'll do is I didn't take video of all the little minutia stuff because everybody knows that. But now that it's just a head assembly, I will take a picture of that, show you what I did, show you how to take off that drum, and show you how to do the recoil, all that. I can do that. But my point is, this thing looked like he took it out of the garbage, okay? Or someone gave it to him, all right? I've actually had people bring me stuff to the dump that I just dropped off at the dump 2 hours earlier. I mean, I had one guy actually try and convince me that a trimmer he wanted me to fix was his when it actually had my name initials scribed into it. I mean, come on, the guy, you got it from the dump. I just dropped it off. Anyway, you say to yourself, when do you say when? That's why they titled this, Sometimes Small Engines Suck. Sometimes they do. But you have to know when to say when. I mean, half the friends and family, what are you going to say? You're not going to say no. You want to help somebody out. But then the other half of the time, you realize, like Jason Pate and all these guys say, your time's worth money too. All right, dealers charging $85 an hour. You ain't charging that, okay? But, your time's worth money. And like I said, I do it for lunch money, maybe to buy some more tools or something, maybe buy another saw or another something. So I don't know. I'll probably charge them $30, $40 or whatever. What did it cost me? I mean, fuel filter, I had them laying around $2, $3 worth of the tube, maybe $2 worth of non-ethanol fuel and 2 hours of my time. So anyway, I said, I enjoyed doing it. It's done, but you got to say when to say when, especially on what I'm calling these small engines that suck, the ones that come from the dump full of varnish. The only good thing I saw on this thing, and you guys can attest this at work on these things, the duckbill valve in the gas tank worked. Hardly ever do you see these duckbill valves that have been exposed to ethanol and varnish work. This thing, I had it laying on its side, laying on its back, laying all over the place, no leaks. That's the one thing I hate about when you're working with old ethanol fuel and varnish and all that. Those duckbills get all gummy and they just leak fuel all over the place. No, this one wasn't leaking. I had it all different attitudes. Guys, check out Kevin Boland's video, Bolin, Kevin Boland. He's got 3 or 4 of them right now, a steel versus a pull-on, pretty cool video. But what he shows is having the, hey, Craigie, what's up, brother? Mix, what's going, brother? You got on your way to work, I'm assuming. But anyway, this guy Kevin Boland is showing the saw where he's got it this way, this way, this way, that way. And that's the way you tell if the seals are good or anything like that. If anyone wants to join the stream, feel free. I'll put it back up. Oh, there's the link to the stream. It's just me right now. If anyone wants to join, feel free. Come in the studio and I'll put you in. Mick, love that video. You, Terrell, and all the rest of the boys, hilarious. Must have taken a lot of work to do that, but definitely hilarious. I'm sure that's going to get thousands of views. If anyone hasn't gone to Mix Mowers, check out his video from a couple days ago. Look for what's going on. Oh, I'm back. Uh-oh, who hit the switch? Anyway, like I said, if anyone wants to join Boneyard, welcome. Mick, everybody, Craig. Hey, whoever wants to join, come on in. I know, Mick, it's getting almost toward bedtime for you, right? Or work time for you. It's about what? Almost 11 o'clock there, Mick. So I'm assuming you're getting ready to go on the rails. So, but anyhow, but yeah, like I said, working on these cheap pull-ons or anything cheap. And Mick, you could attest to this. People go to the dump. People find stuff in the street and they want you to fix it. And they don't know that it's garbage and not worth it. So, sometimes if it's a friend or if it's a family member or something, you feel obligated and you got to do it. But when do you say when? And, when do you give it up? So it's running. I'll throw up a video on it. It's one of those trimmers that you can put any kind of end on it. It's made by Pull-On, branded by Sears. But the way they put in these pull ropes with these easy starts and you have to take half the thing apart just to get to it, not fun. Not fun at all, And if you don't know that it's a flathead screwdriver bit to get in there to get the clutch drum off, that'll kill you too, because you'll be stripping screws and torque drivers and Allen wrenches and all that stuff. So crazy. Tampa, I caught a couple of your videos today, buddy. Nice stuff. Lucky, there you go. How are you, Mike? If you want to join Mike, just chime in. I got the link up there. There it is again. But someone asked me the other day if I'm going to make Sunday morning my official chat, like everyone usually has their own time or something. I might do it. If anyone has a preference on time, I don't want to impinge on anybody else. I know Mike and Mick and everybody else has their own times and dates. If Sunday morning, maybe 9 o'clock Eastern time or something is all right, that's fine. I think Mike has a 10 a.m. Saturday and Mick has his Saturday evenings, and then there's the Fridays. A lot of good streams. And now with the StreamYard, it's great. We have a good time. We have a real good time, But, yeah, Boneyard, I'd love to come up there and see what kind of NOS parts you have. I'm sure there'd be a few I'd like to take home with me. That's for sure, But, AJP, welcome. If anyone wants to join the StreamYard, just click on the link. You're all welcome, I'm not the only one with an ugly mug that wants to go on YouTube. I'm sure there's a lot of other guys out there. But anyway, what else? This weekend will probably be a fairly busy weekend for me as far as engines. The weather's been warm, spring. It's crazy. I mean, it's really nuts. Yesterday was 71. I mean, it's March 10th, March 11th. It's 71. Today was probably high 50s. It's crazy weather. The only good thing is people are calling me up about leaf blowers, trimmers, lawnmowers, things like that, even tractors. So, hopefully it'll be a good year for that. But What else is everybody working on? Anything good? See, Mick, you gotta verse me in this StreamYard thing, and Mike too. How do I coerce people to come into my stream? Because right now, just me, it's that's not fun. You gotta have other people to point to, like the Hollywood Squares, like when you guys get rolling, all six. What'd you pick up, Mick? I love the names of the English or UK mowers, Sovereign, Hater, all these weird names, I've never heard of before, but they all have Americanized, Briggs engines, Honda engines, things like that. So, Willie K, what are you writing here? 10-year-old, 42cc. That's a pull on, Willie. That's a pull on. Once I found a loose filter and told him to say goodbye, barn chain had a lot more wear. But I'll be honest, Willie, if the piston isn't scored, it's basically $5 worth of fuel line. Here comes the legend. Yo, Mick.
Yep.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
There he is. Good. You heading to work? You at work?
Heading to work. I'll be at work in about 5 minutes.
There you go. But yeah, I don't know if you agree on this pool on stuff. When you buy this, you get this cheap stuff that people find in the dump. Is it really worth your time?
Well, do you know what? I say yes, because my area is small gardens, low economy, lots of people on benefits, single parents going on, elderly people. So yeah, if you can turn the cheaper stuff around, get it running. Not only do you get a little bit of profit, but you might get the return service. You can get a good customer base. It's worth doing.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a guy at work, and like I said, not a friend, but an acquaintance. And like I said, where I work, we have 8,000 people in the plant, and I probably service 200-300 of their stuff.
Yeah.
And but like I don't know about you, but I may not see this one guy for 2 years. And all of a sudden he'll bring me something back. So people ask me, oh, you got tons of customers. Yeah, I've got 500-600 customers, but I may not see one guy for 5 years. He may let his equipment go to one day and like, oh, what happened? To have a lot of customers, and like you, Mick, I don't advertise.
I advertise very, very lightly. I would rather deal with those type of people than actually the lawn care people, professionals, who want their equipment quick, sharp. They want it tomorrow, and they bring in 6 or 7 pieces, and you got to order the parts up. And although there's more money in it, there's a lot more higher stress in it for you. So I just like to tinker along. I don't know added stress when I'm working. I'm supposed to be enjoying it,
Let me ask you this, Mick. I did night shift for 3 years at my current place. And I would go in at 11 o'clock at night and get home around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I found the best thing that worked for me was I'd get home at like 8, sleep till noon, be up from noon to 6, then sleep from 6 to 10. Yep. And I had that 6-hour buffer where I could get something to eat, work on small engines, that kind of thing. I mean, what do you follow? You got a regimen or what?
Exactly the same as that, pretty much, apart from the time difference. I work on a basis of job and knock. So it's 11 o'clock now. The possession should be on by midnight, I would say. My job should be done by 3. I should be home by 3:30 and in bed. I'll be up by about 10. I'll do 10 till, say, 4. Then Riley boy comes home from school, bit of lunch, dinner time with Riley, and then head down for 6, back up by 10, back out the door.
Yeah, it worked for me. I mean, people say, oh, you never get enough sleep. Well, instead of getting 8 hours of straight sleep, I would do like the 4 and 4. Yeah, and to me, it worked. I mean, it really worked.
It works fantastic for me, without a doubt. And I can spend about 4 to 6 hours in my workshop every day.
Yep.
Yeah,
there's Pate. I wonder if that's the Mrs. or the Mr.
Yeah, probably Mrs. because I dare say Jason probably in bed. He's probably had his hot cocoa and been told to go to bed. He's had his bedtime story. So I picked up a really strange bit of equipment today. Not strange, but it baffled me. I found a lawnmower, just a small drive mower on I think it was eBay for £15 all best offer. I offered a tenner and got it. It's a 8-year-old mower that has never ever been used.
What am I doing here? There we go.
It's never been used. It's never been fired up from new.
How a couple of years old or?
8 years old. 8 years
wow.
old. And
Wow.
never won 5.
Holy cow. Now, is that a roller on the back or wheels?
It's got wheels. It's a little tiny web with a 3.5 classic Briggs flathead on it, with little power drive wheels on it. The grass bag is brand new, not a blade of grass in it. The bottom of the deck is absolutely pristine. A little bit of surface rust just where it's been stored. Nothing essential. And all I had to do was put 2 carburetor springs on it and the long bolt that goes through the airbox. That was it. I did that, fired it up. The spark plug was brand new, original, brand new, never been used.
Now, is that a keeper for you?
Oh, no, it's a flogger. No, but it retails for, you can still buy it brand new now, and it retails brand new for £299.
Wow.
So I'm going to sell it for
$299 with a 3.5. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it for somewhere close to that, but I'm going to put a 2 to 3 month guarantee on it because the engine's done nothing. The engine's done absolutely nothing.
Yep,
so it should sell, and I got it for like £10, which is what's that, $15-20.
Wow. Sometimes you get lucky.
Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get funky.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
So
there's good weeks and bad weeks, that's for sure.
And then, like you're saying about cheap crap, I had a bloke turn up yesterday. He got a little Sovereign plastic deck lawnmower, a little tiny 16-inch cut thing. I'm convinced he found it or he bought it cheap. He said he wants to spend no money on it at all. Can I get it running? And I did a carburetor clean. I did a new pull cord. The pull cord was snapped. And I did one other thing to it. Really can't remember. Oh yeah, the fuel cap. The fuel cap had split, so I just got my soldering iron and just plastic welded it. And it runs as sweet as a dime. It's 4 years old. Runs as sweet as a dime, and he's chuffed. The only the bill I gave him was not excessive. It took me about an hour to do the whole lot. And he's happy, and I'm hoping to get him booked in for next year's service.
Yeah. The Mrs. Pate is on her. Hi, Chris. But she's asking how our days went. My day was going good until I got varnish on that cheap weed stick. But other than that,
well, you know what two-strokers are like, Ken.
Yep. My buddy Craig here has to take off. Second shift. Take care, Craig. We'll talk to you soon. But anywho, who else is coming up? I figure with you on Mick a Star, we'd get more people in the StreamYard,
No. I am exactly the opposite. There's nothing to star about me. You know what? One of the hardest things to do is to get people up on the panel. It's one of the hardest things to do. People just like.
Yeah, but we seem to have a blast on the weekend, though.
Well, I mean, don't forget, I've been streaming now for nearly a year. And I like.
Oh, with the StreamYard?
Yeah, nearly a year. Yeah, in nearly a year.
Oh, okay.
And I invite everybody up. So from day one, I don't just want people who have a channel. I want my subscribers coming up. I want new people coming up, and
sure,
it's all about engagement. Get them to come up and talk about their channel. Get them to come up and promote themselves. And eventually it'll come. Don't forget, you've only been using StreamYard for a little while, so. But they're used to just hearing you chat away, and you're now changing the dynamics of your stream, aren't you? So it may take a couple of weeks before you get your regulars coming on up. I mean, it is what it is,
I just put the link up again for anyone who wants to join us in the StreamYard. Come in the basement. We'll make sure that you're a real person. We'll get you up.
Mrs. Patty's in here. Willie's in. Hi, Willie. How you doing, buddy boy? Lucky Seven's in here too. He's chilling. Craig's in here. You got a few in here, buddy boy. Tampa's are in here. You got a few in here. There's
a few.
People should learn that coming up on the panel is actually a good thing, and it promotes your channel. It does
There's Mike.
All that love. That's
What's up, Mike?
What's going on?
Yeah, there he is. How you doing, Mike boy?
What's going on, Mike? Everybody else in the panel? Willie, Pate, James.
I was watching some of your tire changing today, Mike.
Yeah, you apparently you need to watch the whole thing, or most of it because I did a huge shout out for you.
Did you?
Yes,
I gotta go back. Yeah, I was watching a little bit during work when you had the stream with the tire. You had the big impact on one of the big tires.
Yeah, I think it was before I started working on the front tires of the truck. I did. I went to my little shelf area where I keep the laptop, and I was explaining to people how I do the play all buttons, and I had the video going on one of your videos, and I said, "This is Ken, small engine. You know, you push a play all, and then your name, Ken, small engine, comes up across the top."
Cool. Is that what you did with Polar Bear the other night?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. Like I said, I've probably got over 200 videos, but I got to get some good content. Like Mick was saying, once the content's what does it.
It is, but yet if you still have those people who just push that play all, that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Mick.
Yeah, the Queen must be calling him.
Well, no, he's actually on his way to work. He was going to be at work in a few minutes.
Oh, that's good.
It's 11:08 there now, so his time. So he did, like I said, I did the graveyard shift for about 3 years at my company when I first started, and worked my way, to get to first shift. So I know what it's like. Yep. Here he comes. Hold on. He's back. He's back.
I've just changed phones. I've just seen my train go past, so that's what I'll go up and come back. So.
Now, Mick, you work on what, a different job assignment each night, so the hours can vary, or what?
Oh yeah, I work different locations every single night. So the scenery changes every night, the crew changes every night, the job changes every night. So tonight I'm working on a piece of line that's got 4 lines, so it's got to be up and down fast and be up and down slow. So I'm working actually where trains are still running. I'm working on the down fast. I've got a mile to do tonight. So yeah, I'm working while trains are doing 120 miles an hour, about 3.5 feet away from me.
Holy wow!
So you got to have your nuts screwed on for that one.
Hey, there's Boneyard. Welcome, Boneyard.
Hey, what's happening?
Got a lot of people tonight. Good.
Boneyard, buddy boy, how you doing?
Good.
More to Mary.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, just in for a couple of minutes. I'm out in the shop working.
Good lad.
Oh, here comes Pate, I think. Hold on.
See, now you were saying
let's see.
You were saying a minute ago you can't get no one on the panel. No one wants to come up to talk to me, and now you got 5 in the house.
Oh my God! What do you do?
Yeah, but now we got Chris and Jason. Everyone's going to want to come on. We're not going to have enough room.
No, don't worry about it. Just keep switching them around.
Ooh, what's that? Boneyard?
That's a head gasket on the Kohler Command 15 horse.
Nice.
There you go. The ones that always go bad on the John Deere riders.
Yeah, and speaking of John Deere's,
there you go.
Of course. Good catch.
Got the motor out of that. It's just sitting in there, putting the crankshaft seal in that.
Yep.
Hey, Nick or Mike, should I pick one of these other screen things to get us bigger pictures or what?
Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is.
I think you're fine.
Nope.
Who
dropped it?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad.
We're like neighbors.
Yeah, we're just down
Oh,
the road.
the LI contingent.
Uh-oh, competition.
You guys are on the North Shore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the South Shore.
I couldn't think of anything worse. Oh my Lord.
Come
Mick,
on.
you know how to pronounce it, right, Mick? It's not Long Island. It's Long Island.
Are you talking about me, Mick, or about them?
Oh, not you, brother. Not you. I'm on about Jason. He'd be like, "Oh, can I have my ball back? Can you come and play in my sand pit?" Oh my Lord.
That's why we live by the water. I play on the bulldozer. You know, the bulldozer with the handles.
It drives me to a point of insane.
Look,
You cold, Jason? Looks like you got double clothes on. What are you doing? What do you got? Shirt over shirt, Jason?
Who has no clothes?
Oh, sweetheart. Did you dress yourself? Did you get it all wrong?
I I used to dress like that in junior high school.
She actually does. She dresses me for work because I have 2 different colors on. If it was for me, I'd be in all black.
No, he insists on wearing Under Armour underneath these shirts, which I think is absurd. Absurd. But that's what happens when he dresses himself. So
I'm convinced it's one of these midlife crisis things. The mullet, the funky clothes, is a midlife crisis. Buy a
Nick, he's nowhere near midlife. He's still a baby.
Huh?
He's still a baby. Nowhere near midlife.
That's right.
A midlife can happen at any time.
Oh, rubbish.
Hey, Boneyard, the valve guides, what they look like.
They're not too bad. They're not too bad at all. I thought they would be worse.
I was trying to look at it, but you moved it too quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I figured I'll ask.
wow.
I actually got the valves still in it. I didn't take the valves out.
Yep.
I love
Yeah, as
John
long as it
Deere's
didn't stop the
Boneyard.
guys, man.
No, it looks pretty clean actually. Not too bad.
Where's the exhaust? Where's the exhaust? Let's have a look.
The exhaust valves right here.
Yeah.
The smaller one.
Little one.
Right
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
That's good. That is good.
What
Not
I
bad.
do on those Boneyard is I take the valve springs off. I take a piece of fuel line, and I take a screwdriver bit on my cordless, stick it to the fuel line, and use that to lap the valve in.
Yeah.
From the other end.
I got a valve lapper. This is all my.
You got a new way?
This is all my small engine.
There you go. Valve grinding compound, all that
Yeah, I
stuff.
how everything.
Yeah.
I got
How
Dahonas.
How about a new way cutter?
What's that?
Do you have a new way seat cutter kit?
Yep.
Yeah, new way is the best. The blue box. There you go.
Boneyard, you're organized, you're local,
Oh.
and you have a John Deere. Are you married?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. That's not my John Deere though.
Okay, you're fixing for a customer. I missed that part.
Yeah, it's for a customer.
Oh, okay.
My dad worked
Hey, Mick,
on-
what are we chowing down on?
I've got a sandwich going on. Ham and chicken sandwich. It's cool.
I do got a John Deere
I
stool
thought
though.
you were going to say something
Oh,
like Vegemite
nice.
or that other stuff they eat.
Very nice.
Say again.
I thought you were going to say Vegemite or one of those other things that the
No,
guys
no,
eat across the
Ham, cheese, mayonnaise, and chicken sandwich. This is my breakfast.
I have a John Deere snowblower. Maybe we can get together and compare our machines.
There you go.
Jason, I saw your video the other day about a bumper you were fitting on your truck. I like that. That was a good video. I fully enjoyed that. I just wondered, did you not? I mean, seriously, did you not consider that step would be far too high to get up on when it was upside down? Because I'm telling you,
Well,
when you first, I mean, I knew it was upside down because obviously we'd had the chat. But when you put it in, I was like, you can clearly see that's upside down. You can, you can.
Nick,
You got one of these,
ask
Ken?
him who else bought that point up to him?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the
raising
clutch
my
bolt?
hand.
Yeah, the clutch remover.
I did also ask him when we were done, what lesson did he learn from all of that? And he said from now on, he's going to install things standing on his head.
Whoa. I thought he already did that anyway because you got that ball bit where he's been standing on his head on the back.
The flat strap. Hey, you guys that are follically challenged, I can't compete with you. So
No. Yeah, it seems like we're leading the game here, Ken.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of your hair. I'm
Hey,
very
Jason.
jealous of your hair.
You seen
I
how
don't have a lot, but I got it.
Hey, Jason, you seen how a real tire technician works on that video, huh?
Oh, please.
That's what we have to have is a chain drop.
I get paid by the hour.
with the
So that's my only answer. The more tires I do, the harder I work.
Anybody
But,
need a muffler?
For my company, on the big wheels that you're working on, the 22
I
inch
might.
heads and all that, they're already on the rim. So we just take them off and put them on, fully loaded. The smaller wheels, we don't, and we have to break them down.
Jason, what does your business specialize in? Though I know it's diesel, but anything in particular?
No, we do everything soup to nuts, inside and out.
I mean, do you do like cylinder sleeves, all that stuff, engine rebuilds?
Yep, we do in frames. You know, some of the because the engines are so big, we never pull them out. They stay right in the truck, and we drop the crank, the pistons, the rods, and that's what we call an in frame. And that's we pull out the sleeves, press new sleeves in, new pistons, new rods. You know, the whole line.
Nice.
It's
Nick?
very rare that we send stuff out.
What's up, Nick?
But I think on Sunday I was trying to get a little bit of work, but I couldn't believe how fast the StreamYard drained my battery on my phone. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it'll bring it down a bit of that.
So I was trying to get that BJ done while I was on film with you guys.
He's got to try to get one when he can, you know.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna finish this up so I can get in and get some dinner. You guys have a good night.
You too.
All right,
Nice
take
to
care.
see you,
Yep.
Boneyard.
Have a good one.
See you later,
too.
Boneyard.
We got some of my friends on here too. We got RW3 Dog Ralph. He's a big Gravely guy. We got Nikki Walsh from Ireland.
And Aryans are the same.
Yeah, Nikki Walsh from Ireland. So it's another good one. We got Polar Bear Ed's back. If Ed wants to chime in, we'll definitely put him back in.
What's up,
So it's Scotty Godwin. Yep.
Nicky Walsh is a cool guy.
So your Gravely friend, he works on them or flips them? What does he do?
And Ralph, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's in the accounting field, but he loves and has millions of videos on Gravely. So if you go see RW3 Dog, if you like anything about Gravely, he's done it.
Yeah,
he's
I like that.
the Gravely.
I love it.
I wanted to get a walk behind, but then I stopped after I did the super.
He's got him from the old Studebaker days up to the newer Kohler days. I mean, he has it all.
Yeah, we gotta check that out.
I love these guys with the double life. I'm obsessed. Like Matt Olson. I'm kind of like girl crushing right now that he has
geez.
life.
If he's listening to this, that's it. If he's listening, it's over.
It's great. You gotta have something other than your main gig. You gotta.
He's gonna chime in.
I'll give money. $10,000. You get this, and
I guarantee you, Matt Olson is lurking, and he's going to see your face, Chris, and chime right in. Watch.
Just name your price. Just name your price in the comment section. You get her and money for vacation, the honeymoon.
Let me tell you,
location.
I will. I'll take a pass.
I know you boys like to get on and talk about and brag what you flipped and sold. Yesterday, my side hustle alone. In less than 3 hours, I bought home probably triple what he could sell a machine for, and he wants to sell me. He wants to sell me. Off the books, cash money, and he wants to sell me.
But you don't even pay for yourself, so you got to go.
And he wants to sell me.
Jason, I got one thing to tell you, though, brother. Jason, one thing to tell you. To have a partner who's educated, highly educated, good looking, and enjoys small engines, you hit the lottery.
Thank you.
Where the hell do you get that?
Keep going. Keep going.
Blah, blah, blah.
If the head going like this,
I honestly
you're not gonna be able to get to the floor later.
You're a hater. You're a hater.
They should have episodes of their videos. Just like a TV show, I'm telling you, you guys will be.
I don't know if there's enough of the.
Hey, there is a TV show, King of Queens, only they're next door.
Yep.
What area are you in? King of what? What do we call it? What area of Long Island?
Oh, we're King? North Shore. What do you mean, King?
Well, you know how you say King of Queens, that TV show? You're not Queens. What area are you? You guys are the king of what? Something.
Greenlawn.
King of the island? I don't know.
Yeah. Right now, we're the king of high taxes, the area of Long Island we're in. Yeah.
Connecticut, you don't have to explain that to me.
Yeah, that's about it.
Believe me. We call it the tax you to death state.
Yeah, absolutely. That's about it.
Yeah.
We get the prize on that one. Yeah.
We are two neighbors directly across the street next to us. Yeah, front yard was like 6 feet concrete.
Yeah.
And their side yard was 2 feet. They could touch the neighbor, and their backyard was like 10 feet.
Yeah.
So crazy.
If that was me, like, out of a high fence.
You must be talking about Nick Shed.
At least I got a shed.
Well, at least we can get in your shed.
Don't give me any of that, Mr. Driveway dude.
You laugh like a hyena. And Nick, has he ever told you he's got 2 sheds? Has he ever shared that with you?
No, he doesn't share anything with me.
Now I'm gonna make you laugh though. When he wanted to get sheds in the backyard, I did make him get pretty ones, so they would make the
flower
house look
boxes.
nice.
That's the reason why he has
They
to
have little windows.
flowers on them.
Don't tell me, Jason. They match your nails, right, baby?
They
They
don't
match.
have flowers,
They
but
match
they're
my
very
knickers.
nice.
They match my knickers.
They're matching.
Oh, sweetie pie. I'll tell you something. When you see like someone go live, like can go live on mic, I bet like Mrs. Pate be like, "Oh, let's go up," and Jason be like, "No, they're gonna pick on me all the time. I ain't going up. I ain't going up. They're just gonna pick on me in my shed and my driveway. I ain't doing it." And she'd be like,
Hey,
"Come
Jason.
on, we got to grow our channel." He'd be like, "No, I'm getting picked on."
That video you did, Jason, about the upsell and all that.
Yeah.
I saw all the stuff in your driveway. Does that mean
Yep.
the garage was empty?
Yes, I had to empty it out just to get to my tools. Yes. And then I set it on Lucky. Lucky went live last night, and he went at a perfect time. I came home with a commercial grade push behind blower.
Yep.
Freyden Billy Goat. I'm sorry, Freyden. Wow.
Oh yeah.
A Honda Billy Goat Force. It's like one of the newest ones out there. It's almost, what was it, like 2,500?
It was
What, the
$100
hydrostatic
for.
one? The hydrostatic one?
No, you have to push one. So it's a 13 horsepower with the adjustable blower chute.
Yeah, because I worked on a Freydan with the hydrostatic. It was almost $4,000.
Wow.
But self-propelled. A guy who's 80 could just hit the button and go.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
shoots on both sides,
Oh wow.
which is nice. Yeah.
What's up, James? Philcott's gone fishing.
All right, James. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
See ya.
So let's talk about refurbishing blades for an extra $5.
Oh, not
about
the one
25?
Jason
What
had.
about 25?
Wait, can we just say hello to Pete first? Pete is now here.
Yep.
And I was
Cool,
so
Pete, what?
excited to finally see Pete for the first time in your video, Mick. Can I just say, when you have a vision of what someone would look like? Pete was not what I expected at all.
Me either.
You're not
But he's a
good or
very dashing gentleman.
Another guy with knickers in the shed.
He is
Ooh.
a very,
You-
very nice looking
you-
gentleman.
You would
But he's
you,
not what I expected at all.
you find that most of us British knights from the round table are all cut from the same loaf.
I don't know. You know what? We never discussed this, but I thought Pete, for some reason, had like long hair, and he had like silver rock skull like rings on his hand. I don't know why. It just had like that Viking death metal look to him. I have no idea
Because
why.
I think you have a girl crush on him or something. I
Trust
don't
me, when I first come across you, I thought you'd look older.
Well, when you're married to this, that's what happens to you.
Oh.
You just start doing all sorts of crazy things.
Hey,
Please.
one word: karma. Karma.
Thank you. Amen.
It's right
Amen.
now.
We
How
all-
long have you known Pete?
Not very well, but a little while. I've known Pete about. He's been with me from day one. I think it's fair to say he's been with me since day one, so a little over a year. I met
Oh, okay. So you guys
I
met
met
through
him
the
for the
channel.
first time in person last week, and I've spoken to him on a few panels off and on, just after Christmas. So yeah, Pete is a very educated man in regards to a small engine. He's done quite a bit. He's very educated in the older stuff too, like that stuff at Punch I did. He knew exactly what about all that sort of thing. In fact, the new area for me. So yeah, I mean, it's good to surround yourself with people that have good experience, life knowledge. I don't like these techie boys who, I say tech as in not as in computer. I mean fitters. I can't stand a fitter. Someone who works on an engine and they take a carb off, put a carb on, airbox off, airbox off. I don't like fitters. I like proper.
Parts changer.
That's
Yeah.
what you call a part changer.
Yeah, I can't put up with that.
Yeah.
They're not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So it's good to surround yourself with people that know exactly what's going on and can throw some good advice to you. And Pete is definitely one of those. Definitely.
He seems extremely knowledgeable, and it seems like any live he's ever on, or even when he's commenting on people's videos, he's always he just has such a way with words, and he's so complimentary, and he's kind, and he's just very positive. He's a great addition to anyone's page.
He's a typical British gentleman, same as me.
Of course.
We're cut from the same cloth.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Right, regurgitate
We're cut from the same
dinner.
Got it.
It's all good. So I want to see your she shed then, Jason. I want to see your she sheds.
Yeah. I actually would be a palace if I have 2 of them.
Because you were ribbing me just the other day about having see the thing about old mixed mowers is I don't forget anything. And you were ribbing me. You were pulling my plonk about having a she shed the other day. And now you have 2 proper matching decorative she sheds in your backyard. And you ain't even shown no one yet.
But you know what else bothers me that he did?
I don't live in them.
Just a moment. You know what else bothered me? When he bothered you about your trousers that you work in the she shed. I'm sorry, your shed. He has at work for when it snows, he has snow gear, which looks a lot like your trousers, but puffy.
Oh, puffy.
He can't wear them because he's smaller framed and he gets lost in them.
What?
So he leaves them at home.
You mean like real man sizes, right?
And he says, I can't really move in them when I put them on because they're too large on me.
It sounds like you could have a party in them.
Yes.
It becomes a massive problem. It becomes a massive problem when you hit 18 years old and you still got to buy clothes. You still got to buy clothes from the clothes store. What's up,
Uncle Glenn? How are you? I found the guy at work. I wanted to
I'm doing great.
Post on Instagram. He wouldn't let me take his picture. I'm like, okay, I found Uncle Ed at work.
Hey, Ed, when your monitor shines on your glasses, you look like that Winter Warrior on that TV show. You know, the winter guy. Oof.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Jason, don't they sell those dungarees or bib and braces on Amazon for size 8 to 9 year olds? You probably get a pair on there.
No, Mick, in the States they call them garanimals.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'll put them on my Amazon wish list.
You can you do that, buddy. And I'll tell you something, you put them on there and I will buy you a pair. You stick them on there.
See, Michael probably remember when we were younger, they had health techs and garanimals.
Aw.
And the kids could match up their clothes with animals.
Yep.
You'll be
like a giraffe top and a giraffe bottom. You knew you matched.
You'll be telling me next, Jason, you got matching booties to go with them. Can you tie your laces yet, or are you still using Velcro?
Velcro.
Probably loafers.
Honestly, he probably could use some Velcro. This man will leave his shoes tied and force his way in his shoes every morning.
Who else does
that? He never unties his shoes.
Nope.
Never.
You got to get a pair of Crocs from Henry.
No.
No.
I love Henry to
you know what they say about the holes in Crocs, though? The Crocs have holes in them so that, you know, your pride and your reputation can just drain out.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. And he's seen him. There's snow on the ground. He's got Crocs with safety. He
is Mr. Crocs, though. He fits the bill.
That's
Crocs
and
his socks.
Look. He can't help it. Yeah.
No, Crocs and socks. Black, like porno socks. What's he doing? Black socks. It's like watching a Rick Meyer film with him with that, you know?
Yeah, I'm not fashionista, but there's certain things you don't wear in public, and Crocs is one of them.
Yeah, we
is another.
We can tell that, Jason, just by the way you dress. Not into fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all black, head to toe.
I don't think their issue is with the all black. It's some of your other fashion choices.
Like what?
I know your mullet.
You wear my. Oh well, that I.
Oh,
picked.
come
Pick
on,
out the rest of
come
my-
on. It's,
Hey,
you can't even call that a
What's up,
mullet.
Mike? Cheryl said my dinner's ready, so I'm gonna let you guys go.
Show them.
Alright.
Oh,
Oh,
yum.
See you lucky.
There you go.
Oh, I'm
Take
coming
care,
around
Mike.
yours.
Lucky
We'll talk to
the
everybody later.
cheesecake. The cheesecake, Lucky, the other day looked delicious.
Oh yeah, it's already gone.
Delicious. It's
All right.
gone?
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, Mike. Thanks for stopping by.
No, matey. I'm telling you now, if Ed sneezed right now, he'd have a bigger mullet than you ever would have, Jason. I'm telling you. That hair will go
It's
around.
not the mullet, it's just in front. Ed's just got to go like this and turn the mullet the other way.
Exactly
Well, what
that.
is it when I got a haircut as I don't touch the top?
See, that's really the back of Ed's head, and that's the mullet.
I'm telling you. Poor old Jason. He does get some stick.
I just wish.
Yeah.
I just
See,
wish I
welcome.
thought of
How
my
you doing,
mullet
buddy?
later on in life.
Trust me, this is the karma of his life coming around.
Oh please.
Because this gentleman, for most of his life, has always dished it, and he's finally getting a little bit of it
Oh, I
back.
tell you, it's terrible
So
when
feel
you're the
free to
sharp
let
end
it
of the
keep
stick.
coming.
It's not good, brother, is
It's
it? Eh?
okay. It's quite okay.
He must at the end of the stream go in the kitchen and stamp his feet. Stamp his feet. He's getting picked up. It's fine. It's not a problem. Oh, sweetheart, I've upset you.
Ed, what have you been up to? Anything good?
Yeah, I am now again Hustler Service certified.
Oh, that's right. You went to the class. Congratulations.
Oh, excellent.
Did you learn anything new?
Nope.
Did you-
Same as it was 4 years ago.
I have a sneaky feeling Ed probably educated a few in there. Is what I'm thinking.
Now I have to ask Puller, where you're, or maybe even Ken, where you guys are. I know down here, like the universities here, are all starting to close because of the corona.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing by you? Are you like Puller?
Well,
I know
some
you're
of
on
them
a
are, yeah.
university, right?
Some of them are close, but the thing that really scares me now is they're talking about sporting events and concerts and all that. I mean, it's March Madness time for the basketball, and they're talking about the Ivy League schools. They canceled.
Oh yeah,
That's
they're
it.
done.
I mean, they're canceling all these. They're afraid people are going to get sick.
Yeah, they're all in online courses now for the rest of the semester. The rest of the local universities by us are closed down for a short period of time. And now slowly each day, a lot of the schools are closing. Like we're getting briefed daily in the local schools, like where I teach and things like that. But I was thinking of Puller because I know you're on a university, right? You're at a campus. So, but
As of right now,
everybody's making out.
As of right now, we're on spring break, but they had a meeting at 4:30 this afternoon with all the big wigs.
Okay.
And they will let us know tomorrow what we're doing.
Got it.
As of Monday, they already started disinfecting everything,
Yeah.
going through all the empty rooms and all the common areas.
Mhm.
They won't go into students' rooms until it's necessary.
Got it. Mhm.
At the end of the day, it's the same over here. You know, we're now being told the supermarkets are now limiting items or certain items of how many you can have. Social events are being cancelled. The country, the UK, will have to go on lockdown, the same as it is in Italy. You've got to spend 14 days indoors, isolate yourself up, and that's the only way you're going to contain this. It's not really a disease; it's just a virus. And as long as you keep yourself clean, keep yourself away from other people as much as you can for 2 weeks, it'll fizzle out. It'll fizzle out. But you just got idiots.
One thing they haven't told you, and I found this out the other day too, is everyone's scrounging around to get these masks. Okay, and the most popular mask is a 3M number 95 mask. Well, the coronavirus is 0.08 micron in size. Okay, where these masks are 300 micron in size. It's not doing anything.
It doesn't.
And they're hoarding masks, and it's crazy. A friend of mine in a Napa auto parts store, guy walked in and said, "Can I buy what you have of masks?" And he had a case of masks left. I think the case was $200 for like 2,000 masks.
Yeah.
Guy goes, "I'll give you $1,000." The guy goes, "It's $200." Oh, don't you want more money? And the guy's like, "No." I mean, it's crazy.
It's not going to do anything. Yeah. No. For us here on the island, our cases seem to be spreading. It's not from child to child. It's actually where they found some of the contaminators are from like transportation drivers. So it's actually like the school bus drivers. Yeah.
Well,
we only have 2 in Connecticut. And they're saying the one in Connecticut came from New York.
We're up to multiple cases here now. Yeah.
We had those. We had those people come in from Tenerife and from the Diamond Princess cruise ship. They came in and they came.
We've seen them.
We got a special hospital at the moment, which is a quarantine hospital, and they were all on a bus, all wearing masks, and the bus driver wasn't. So guess what? When he dropped them off, they just affected the coach. He then went on and picked up 53 elderly people for a day out at a museum, and they all called it. You know what I mean? It's just it's ridiculous. So.
So, asking for a friend, what are the symptoms of coronavirus?
It's
fever over 100.4.
Oh,
yeah.
Shut up.
I have to make a phone call. Sorry.
It's a fever with a mild niggly cough, and it's flu-like symptoms, isn't it? It's flu-like symptoms. That's what it is.
I'm going on holiday when she goes away. Take her away.
I could only be so lucky if they quarantined him. Oh my Lord!
I think the problem is if they quarantined him and he had a GoPro, we'd all cop it. We'd be having videos every half an hour.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's what it is. It will fizzle out eventually. I think what
like everything else. Yeah, absolutely.
What's got to happen is the Asian and Chinese, Japanese communities or country, they have to learn you can't eat stuff that's still alive, and you can't eat stuff that you've got to cook it, man. And this is if it's not cooked, I mean, if you have a joint of roast pork, you wouldn't eat pork raw, would you? You got to cook it, So that's where it's come from. But they're never going to change the ways because they think it's all medical and it's got benefits to it. And what benefit does eating bat entrails have for you apart from giving you coronavirus? So it's what it is. It'll fizzle out.
It's funny over here in the States. We usually go out or take in once a week, like Chinese. Yeah. Nobody's even going to Chinese restaurants. No. It's crazy.
They wrote about that in the local newspaper. Like it's okay to eat Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of our local delegates were like on the news eating in a local restaurant just to show it's safe, it's okay. And then meanwhile, the next day on the news, they were saying how there was a positive case right in the same neighboring town of the same restaurant that they were advertising for.
There you go.
That's it. Over.
Yeah, that's
just. I like the lady that was on the news telling you not to touch your face, and then she's licking her finger to turn the pages.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck was that? Oh, my God. This is our elected officials.
Yeah.
Well, over in Italy, they've got 16 million people on lockdown currently. Wow. 16 million people on lockdown for 2 weeks. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just something that has to happen, and I think we're just in a world where no one likes to sit still for more than 10 minutes. And do you know what? If they said to me, "You got to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks," hell yeah, I'll do that. I'll just go and sit in my shed. I'll shut the door. I'll put a bed in there. I'm happy as pig and book. I can do live streams. I can do everything. I'm happy.
You put knickers on.
I don't wear knickers.
Remember, we can't see from the waist down, so we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's all crazy. I mean, Donald Trump originally was like, we won't get no cases over here. Like, yeah, really? You've already got it, bro.
We're the melting pot. We're the melting pot.
We'll get it. Yeah, it's gonna come.
Well,
a lot of
Speaking,
it.
totally random, but since you brought it up of knickers, if you gentlemen are ever looking for some good knickers on Amazon, check out David Archie's. They are knickers that mechanics love. When we were looking for good wicking ones, mechanics across the states were writing great reviews for this brand called David Archie's, and they're phenomenal. He's a huge fan. Not like his opinion matters, but check them out. You'll love them. We're not sponsored or anything, but they're amazing. And I've told a couple coworkers for their husbands who are in your lines of work and whatnot. They love them. Love them.
I just want to say that in the
and
UK,
I think they're sexy.
In the UK, knickers is something completely different.
It's a knee pant, right? Up down to the knee.
No, knickers is what ladies wear as sexy underwear.
Well, exactly. Well, for someone like him.
When I wear knickers, though, I think of the Waltons and John Boy.
They were very revealing on you.
I know Ed is currently on spring break at the moment, so he may want to get himself a nice pair of pink knickers.
we were actually told today that we are to report to work.
You were told what?
They told us today that we are still to report to work.
Yeah. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll sort itself out. Always, once the better weather gets here, it'll sort itself out. Always does. It's no big. I mean, I was chatting to someone just the other day on my train. He was on about because we had 2 cases now of people dying with coronavirus in the UK. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, you heard about the coronavirus?" Blah blah blah. I said, "Mate, more people died in this county through cancer today. More people died in a car accident in this county today. More people died of a heart attack in this county today. Coronavirus has got nothing. You know, people are dying every day of cancer and all these other diseases every day of the week. And you're not hearing that. You know, the common flu kills thousands of people across the world every single year. Coronavirus so far has killed what, 3,500 people, something like that. You know, infected cases and what have you. It's nothing. Drop in the ocean.
Are they changing anything with the railroads or anything by you? Like by us here in the States, they've shut down like our Amtrak and things like that for periods of time.
Yeah, they're telling you don't go on a train or don't go in an elevator.
They're trying to avoid it all.
Yeah, but they haven't brought in anything like we are. What's called we're in the delay stage at the moment. So what we are trying to do, from what I gather through our health officials, and bear in mind we have probably one of the best healthcare systems in the world over here in the UK. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to delay the medical advice to try and extend this for another 6 months. If we can get through 6 months of it, we can then be more set up and ready for it. So I don't foresee an issue over here. You know, we're pretty clean, and people in the UK are pretty sensible. If they say don't touch each other, we don't. And you know, if you've got to stand in the queue for 3 hours, then we do. So it's not like in America. You know, in America when it's like Black Friday, you lot go absolutely bloody crazy to go and purchase a 42-inch TV. You end up fighting each other. You know, over here we just stand in the queue and wait. So we are different. And we've got good intensive care units. We've got good isolation. I think the biggest problem is just the fools going around doing it on purpose to get on YouTube and to get on Instagram and just to make a name for themselves. So I'm not concerned anyway, shape or form. Anyway, shape. Yeah.
Well, I heard horsepower cures the coronavirus, so I'm just waiting to get some horsepower going.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. It's no biggie. I mean, I think a lot of it is being spread by these high-flying businessmen that are flying into Japan and going over to Italy and shooting over to Spain. But that's where the bulk of it is. So it's quite easy. Everyone's just got to shut their borders down, stop people travelling, and then look after themselves. You know, if it means you've got to shut half the country down, then or half a state down, then that's what you do. You just shut it down.
I couldn't agree with you more. We just we just had I'm part of the administrative crisis panel in our district, and we just had a meeting today on how to approach the parents in the district. And, you know, it's just that conversation. You know, we have children going on field trips, and parents want answers of, are these trips still happening? In my mind, they're not a necessity. If we don't have to put the children out there, just like these people going abroad for business, if you don't need to do it right now, if you can have these conversations via a face chat, or there's other ways to do business than doing it directly, taking a flight and doing it overseas. If you can keep yourself healthy and safe, then cancel it. If it's not a necessity right now, cancel it. You know, I think people have very different versions of what priorities are right now, unfortunately. So.
Well, it's always way. I mean, when I get on my train in a minute, I'm going to be in a small cab. The cab is probably about 8 foot square. There's going to be 5 of us in there, in this cab. There's 3 seats, and the rest is standing. So someone hasn't brought it up yet. That's too confined. You know, if someone just sneezes, we're all going to get it. It's as simple as that. You know.
Yeah.
But you just put yourself in. If you put yourself in a situation, then it's going to go wrong for you. It's as simple as that. You know. But can you imagine if someone said to you, or you saw in the news, there's been 1 case of Ebola found in Long Island?
Oh, so do you remember when they had the Ebola scare? So I wrote off the Ebola scare because they were showing footage here on Long Island, and they were transferring somebody with Ebola, right? But the person who was transferring them had no proper gear. They threw on jeans and a t-shirt. As soon as I turn around to her, I says, "Oh, this is all BS." You know what I mean? If this person really had Ebola, they should be dressed to the nines too, not like me and her going back and forth to work. I'm like, oh, forget it. Forget Ebola. Screw those people. We're fine.
We had Ebola over here because one of the aid workers came back with it, and they stuck it in an RAF ambulance. They flew her into RAF base and stuck it in an RAF ambulance, and the RAF ambulance was quarantined. The roads were all shut off as this person travelled. But she was in an airtight bubble, all that sort of stuff. You know, that's proper quarantine. If they said there's Ebola in this country, I would be worried. I'd be seriously worried. You know.
I thought there was a cure for Ebola.
There is a cure, but the mortality rate is higher.
Yeah.
You know. But coronavirus, I mean, unless you're knocking on in age or you've got underlying health issues, from what I'm hearing, it's just like having the flu. It makes you feel like crap, and after 14 days, it'll pass.
All the deaths here are over 60, so it's like I still drink out of a garden hose. I'm fine. I eat her cookies.
I exactly that. You know, I'll clean a carburetor in a mug and then swill it out and make a cup of coffee in it. It's the same thing. You know, I've got a good immune system.
Yeah.
Is that because you ran out of the Mixed Mowers coffee mugs?
I haven't seen no Pate Performance mug yet, I may add.
Listen, there is but so much time in a day. This woman's working on it.
She can't handle SHIT. She's supposed to find a better streaming service. And what have you done?
I can't babysit you.
You said you're supposed to
and work the many jobs that I
All
work.
you want to do is just give away things and take credit for everything. Exactly.
I'm looking for a nanny to watch him after work hours, please.
I have
he
done.
likes to work on equipment, but he needs to be babysat.
I have done NyQuil.
The only qualifications is that you babysit him while he does these videos on YouTube.
I was wondering. I was just wondering what is that like elastic rope that goes around Jason's waist when he's recording a video?
That's the pulley
running
cord.
out in the road?
I'm working at home. I just give it a yank.
Is that
so far out of the driveway?
No going on the road now, Jason. You must stay nice and close now.
Otherwise, he runs into the road.
Yeah.
I got a shock collar we can send you.
I know, right? Somebody would just take me from this hellhole.
Polar bear, that's why we have this community, for all our minds to come together. Good job.
Set me free, please.
You know, I was thinking of investing the money. You know how they have for the dogs, the shock fence and with the little collar?
Yeah.
Because sometimes he strays from the driveway when he's working on equipment. So, you know. Maybe that we could.
You should have the collar with the remote, Chris, so you could blast them when you feel like it.
Again, I love the ideas. Keep the brainstorming coming, guys.
No,
they sell it at Tractor Supply. Just put it
You
on
keep
them and
it
you
up.
go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
send you guys a pair of vibrating Paté's Performance knickers, and I'll zap you from.
I'll take 5 pairs.
The one I have is mobile. It has a central thing that's battery operated, and the animal can only get so far from it. So you can take it to.
We were talking about the knickers.
Oh no. Sorry.
Funny how it's supposed to be Ken's small engine channel. We're talking about panties. I can't get over that.
Nick,
Hey, I'm
my
in if you are.
apologies.
I have no idea, Ken.
Ken, what are you working on this week?
Nick, you know what the sad thing is, man? We've been doing this for over an hour. That's the sad thing.
I can tell you pretty much when it went peculiar. I can tell you when it went peculiar. certain people came up. I can tell you. Just give you a clue.
Well, look what. When you let certain people in, look what they bring in.
Yeah.
You let in the riff, they bring in the wrath.
To be fair, it's my fault. I left the back door wide open, so it's my fault. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, you're here to have fun, you know, and that's what it's all about.
Well, I will say this is the best laugh I think I had all day. So, Ken, I appreciate that.
Speak for yourself.
I laugh at you all the time.
It's all good. I sold 3 mowers today, Jace. 3 mowers.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
3 mowers,
So,
2
Nick,
services. All good.
Nick, where you are, what would you say like is your where are you finding the best of all your finds where you are? Like,
he bought something off of eBay, which is like wild.
Oh wow, you're kidding.
Yeah, I use Facebook Marketplace. It's generally quite a good tool, but the competition is quite fierce. I use eBay a lot because a lot of people use the Facebook Marketplace and they tend to forget about the eBay. So the last mower I picked up, which is that one I showed you, Jace, that brand spanking new one that's done nothing. I got it off of eBay. That was in the next town across. But my best contacts I have at the moment, or best outlets, are 3 different companies that sell on eBay, and they have a contract with the recycling centres. And what they do is they roll in there every day, and they've got these big, massive vans, and they pay so much per ton. That's what they're paying. So they'll come out of there with all the mowers, trimmers, blowers, you know, you name it, rotovators. They come out there with all the broken stuff, and they might buy the whole lot for, say, how much you get in the back of the van? Probably about 2 ton, I would say.
Wow.
They're probably paying about $100 for 2 ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they then list that on eBay. Now, what I do, I've got 3 contacts that will ring me up and send me photographs via WhatsApp before they list it. They say, I've got 15 mowers, give me £120 for the lot. And they know that I only take mowers, strimmers, or anything that are, as long as they're broken, that's fine, but they must be complete. It's got to have a grass box. It's got to have the exhaust, the air boxes on it. If it ain't got it, I'm not interested. End of. Because otherwise, you end up keeping too many spares. So I had a bloke text me today. He's got 25 mowers, all complete, and he wants to know if I want them. Some are a bit crappy. I can't be choosy. It's a job lot, and I should get the lot for about 80 quid, which is about $120.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow.
Each
So where do you put them? That's the only problem. Storage.
Well, I've got a fair size yard, Ken, as you know, and my mower store is quite a good size, so I can store those mowers, no problem. And I've only got to sell 2, and that's my money back, and the other 23 is just sheer profit. So it don't matter if I sell one for $30 or if I sell one for $200. It's irrelevant. And I will get those in about every month. I'll have 15 to 20 mowers coming in for that sort of money. As I say, I'm different to you and Jason. You guys are different flippers to me. I will buy the junk and turn the junk for a lower profit but a higher volume.
Yeah, we don't get access. We don't have access to that.
I get that. But I can't take in a Honda HRX 476 with rear roller, automatic drive, clutch blade brake, all that stuff, but sell for 400, 500 pounds. Because no one's going to buy it in my area. No one's going to buy it.
Oh wow! No, yeah, no. I mean,
so
it's different. I mean, it's
yeah, definitely. I've talked to a fella today. He's one of my subscribers. He lives about an hour from me. He does exactly the same as me. And he buys the same things. He buys the cheap economy mowers that you can buy for £140. He buys them for like £5, £10 at a push, and he'll flip them for like 90 to 100. He sells them for like £30 below the retail price, and he'll sell 15, 20 mowers a day every day.
Yep.
So I have to ask, because I'm learning. So you could make fun of this question because I know you might.
No, there's every possibility I will do. It's simple.
But is it the type of grass where you are, where people can get away getting a cheaper mower because it gives you just as good a cut as a better mower? Or
it's all down to yard size. It's down to yard size.
Okay.
If out in America, apparently everything is bigger and better compared to the United Kingdom, including the mental hospitals.
The ones that defeated you guys.
Yeah, apparently.
1770s. Yeah.
Well, they'll get bigger mower.
You were 2 years too late in the Second World War, sweetheart. Anyway,
but they'll get bigger mowers, Mick, even if it doesn't barely fit in their yard. You know,
I get that.
Yeah.
So the biggest problem I have is people will buy a cheap mower, and the yard is quite big and the grass is quite tall. That's the issue I have. So I have to have anything from a 16-inch cut to a 24-inch cut. But even so, the 24-inch cut still has to be the economy version. It won't sell for any more than about 100 and 160 pounds top, absolute top money. I sold one today, a Mountfield 470 SP today. Retails at £375. I sold it for 120. And all it's had is just a straight service on it. I can sell those Mountfields all day, every day for about 80 to 120 pounds. As long as I get them for £20 each, I'll sell them at £80 all day long. And I can just line them up, you know. Your things like your Time Masters and all that, the Turf Masters, they just don't sell over here. They just don't sell because the yards are not big enough. I had a fella come in last year. He had a Honda Pro 556 Lawn Flight. It's a big 22-inch cut mower, industrial, 5.5 horsepower Honda on the top, all singing, all dancing. Retails at around about £2,000, brand new. This machine was 15 years old when he bought it in. And he bought it in because it wasn't working and the height adjustment had failed on one of the wheels. The height adjustment part for it alone was 70 quid just for the cog. I had to purchase it because I couldn't fix it. So I'm already £70 in the hole, and he wanted me to sell him a mower and buy his mower off of him. It ain't going to happen. So in the end, I said, there's a mower there, take your pick. You can take a mower today and go and earn money. I will take your old mower off of you as a straight swap. No cash involved. Now, I'm doing you a favour, you're doing me a favour. As soon as he went out the door, I pulled the pull cord, it wouldn't start. I turned the fuel on, pulled it again, and it fired straight on up. So he had the fuel turned off. I sold that mower 6 months later. I had it, still sat there, and I had it up for £250, which is still really good money. And in the end, some old boy turned up and he drove like 2.5 hours to come and get it. And I think I sold it for around about £200 cash money. And that's why I don't like having them in, because the big mowers, they don't sell. They just don't sell.
See, that's crazy. Here in the States, we don't have a 16-inch mower. 16-inch mower might be like one of those real ones. The smallest gas powered.
21 is usually a minimum.
Yeah, we get 20s, 21, 22 is like a cat's meow. And then there's a big jump up to a 30-inch like what I have. But then I think Toro and Craftsman, well, they're all the same now. They came out with maybe a 24 or 28 inch lawnmower, and it's like it's ridiculous money.
But you see, over here, a lot of the new build houses, which you'll pay like maybe £500,000 for a townhouse, it'll come with a backyard. The backyard is literally 12 foot square. That's it.
Wow.
So you'll get a bench, you'll get a patio set, you'll get a barbecue, a little 6 foot by 4 foot shed maybe in it. That's your lot. You ain't getting no more. So
you need a 16.
Yeah.
Or some nice clippers.
Exactly that. So that's why the electrics sell very well over here, but I'm not getting into electric because they're just crap. So 16-inch mowers for me, they sell all day long, every day. I can
can't
just
believe the
line them up.
16-inch mower. Holy snikes.
Is that kind of why you don't get into the lawn tractors either, Mick? Like
No,
it's just not
I'll never see
worth
it.
it.
Absolutely. The problem with lawn tractors is, compared to the States, you can buy a lawn tractor over where you guys are, non-running, but something you can flip within a day. You can pick up one of them for about $300, $300, $500.
Sometimes less, depending.
Over here, someone will have an old beaten up Murray, which hasn't been run for 5 years, and they want £800 for it.
Oh, jeez.
You should send them Christmas lights. I asked people, what's your address? I can send you Christmas lights so you can decorate it for the season, because that's all you're gonna have it for.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for that reason, because it's like a £500 to £800 outlay, you then got to get it running, and then you got to then flip it, and they don't want to spend the money when you're selling it. So, the yards over here are not big enough. If I was in Surrey, which is where I am now, I'm 2 counties over, they would sell over here. You could sell lawn tractors all day long over here. The yards are much bigger. The money is stronger over here. Your house is like £750,000 house standard, so they would sell here, and a 16-inch mower wouldn't. But where I am in the lower economy side of the UK, although Sussex is a very posh area, there's so many people on benefits, incapacity, single parents, lots of people in the newer style builds who have lots of money but a small garden. So for me, I'm looking at selling. Last year I sold about 175 mowers. This year I want to push out about 250.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And that's not including trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, hedge trimmers on
repairs.
Plus service and repairs.
Yeah, the most I ever did was 363 transactions, and I had no life. We weren't complaining, but I'm like, I don't want to do this ever again.
There was no quality of life. Like it was just one thing after another.
And that's why I've now changed what I do, Jay. I now do service and repairs more than the mower flipping and selling, because you spend too much time on trying to get an engine running. You don't get it running. You've got to get another mower, strip it down, change the parts, go and buy. With just the service repair, you know what you're doing. If it's a standard service, the engine's already running. You can turn that inside 20 minutes and they go out the door. You get your next one in. Service and repair work is much less work to do than flipping. I mean, that's why I say to you about when you recondition the blade. I'm not taking a piss at you. I'm not taking a mickey.
No. It's just okay. Go ahead.
Really, I'm not. But for me, it ain't worth the effort, because all people do over here is they cut the grass. When they finished it, they throw it in the shed, and they forget about it until next week. That's what we're going to do. No one loves an engine unlike us, right? So for me, there's no sense in that, because you're just wasting your own time, not the money. You're wasting your own time, sanding, buffing, grinding, spraying. That's taking you 20 minutes to do that. You can
maybe
service
like 10 tops if I take my time.
Okay, but you can service a mower in 10 minutes.
Yep, but the only reason why I'm doing that now is because we're not technically in season yet. So what happens is I like to get all my lawnmowers lined up, ready to go, because sometimes I'll have the same lawnmower, but three of them. So if I sell one, I keep the ad up, and the next one goes out the door. But I'm having a problem lately is that someone will say, "Oh, I'll take the lawnmower." Okay, great, and then I'll put an edge on the blade. Okay. And then the guy doesn't show up. And then 2 weeks later, I go to sell the lawnmower. The blade's rusty again. Because, they go to check out the lawnmower. I thought you said the blade was sharpened. So only now because we're still early in the season, is I'm only painting the blade as a preventative measure for me, so I don't have to do that again.
I get that. But through reputation and through confidence in yourself, I do my standard advert will say, lawnmower all running, or lawnmower fully serviced, running as it should is my title. Okay. New spark plug, new oil change, new belt, new air filter or clean filter, blade sharpened and balanced. That's it. Okay. Now I balance my blades. I know you don't balance yours. That's your own thing. But if you were to balance your blade, which takes no time at all, you sharpen your blade, you put it on the balancer, it's done. Move on. Okay. That's already quicker than it is painting. When someone turns up and says, "I thought you said you sharpened the blade." I did, and I balanced it. I didn't say I painted it, but you know through confidence that that blade is sharp. How many people come to you and say that blade's not sharp?
If it looks rusty, yeah, because if I sharpen the blade and the mower sits for a week, forget it.
See, my answer is the blade isn't sharp because it's not designed to be sharp. A blade is not designed to be sharp. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, 30-degree angle.
Yeah, there's usually a little land on there.
Okay, so that's your confidence. Yeah, the blade is rusty. You said you sharpened it. It doesn't look sharp. A blade isn't designed to be sharp. It's designed to cut on impact. It should be a 30-degree angle with a step and doled off on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And that way,
straight away, too, Mick, what they always say, though, too, if you don't remember, only the first inch of the blade does 99% of the cut. I mean, people sharpen those things 10 inches in. It's the first inch that does all the cutting.
Yeah, I have a landscaper who gets blades, and he has me sharpen them from one end to the other.
Yeah.
I ask questions. I do what he asks. He pays me. See ya.
So by saying the blade is sharpened and balanced, and when they question that, as soon as you say it's been sharpened, balanced, 30-degree with a step and doled off on the back, you're already displaying to that person you know exactly what you're talking about. Do not question me. You know, that gets away from the people who are going to turn up, fire the lawnmower up, cut the grass, hit a stump, go over gravel with it, and chuck it in the shed. You're working too hard, in my opinion. To spray a blade, to try and display that, just display it with words. Display your confidence that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I do like, Mick, the wording from a marketing selling standpoint of running as it should, because then it's also giving the illusion of, I'm not saying it's new or like new. It's running as this used machine should be running.
Exactly that.
It's taking all the guesswork out. I like that.
You're showing a confidence, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
And it's things like that you can sell something that looks like a bit of a pig. You can sell it as a rusty diamond, you know. And I think is it Terrell says it's a lawnmower, it ain't a space shuttle.
Yeah.
You know, that's your term. That's the terminology or something similar you want to be using, because they're not going to look after it. The worst things to ever work on is a concrete cutting saw. Worst thing ever. Because they take it out the van, they fire it up. The second it started, it's flat out, it's cutting, it's covered in dust. They finish cutting with it, they throw it in the back of the van, tips on its side, and they leave it until the next day. So what's the point in spraying up the guard and this, that, and what's the point in that? Because they ain't going to love it anymore, and it ain't brand new. They're not paying retail price. So get it running, change the 3 or 4 filters that are in it, and sell it as running as it should. Stop, starts, and cuts exactly as it should. And then I always put on the end of my adverts, or most of them, this engine is sold as in use but fully working condition.
Yeah.
That way there's no comeback. You come down, you looked at the mower, you've ran it up, you've tried it, you tested it. That's your opportunity to pick out any holes or any gripes you have within it. As soon as you give me the money and walk away, that's a contract signed and done.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you get comeback. If you tart something up, you could even spray a blade up, sharpen it, balance it. They go out and they hit something and bend the blade. They could say, "Well, that's your fault." You told me that blade was good. It shouldn't have bent like that. Why did it bend like that? They will find any excuse to come back at you. You know, so
that's why we don't sell the house anymore.
Just got to be on your game all the time. I don't get. Last year I sold 170 mowers. I had 2 returns out of 170 mowers, all second-hand mowers that were taken to the tip to be sent to landfill. You know, because all my mowers are checked. That mower I had today, that new one, because it's new and because I wasn't sure why it had been not used, I had it running in my garden for 30 minutes. Just fill the tank up and just let her run. Because I want to
get the kinks worked out.
I want exactly that. I want to make sure that's going to be solid. Because someone's going to pay good money for that mower, I don't want it coming back. So every single mower I have runs for 20 minutes. Cold start, 20-minute run, hot start. You know, I never sell a mower on the same day as you get it. Always fire it up the next day. Never do it.
Yeah, I'll sell it the same day. We're in the spring sprint. It's gobble gobble. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know, Ken, you've been out.
Once you get burned the next day by a customer, I mean, the worst is you sell it the same day, and the next morning it doesn't start or it stalls or whatever. You don't want the call back, especially the guy's driving an hour away.
Especially exactly that, Ken, and especially if you're trying to build a reputation. I would like to think I have a reputation now. People are knocking on my door at home saying, I hear you repair lawnmowers. They're just turning up with a lawnmower on the driveway. So
that's what happens with me. Yeah.
Word is getting around that Mixed Mowers provides good quality service for equipment that is used. You know, if your lawnmower breaks down that you buy a brand new out of the shop within a week, you take it back, right? If it breaks down after a week and you bought it off of me, you ring me up and say, hey, that mower's breaking down. Can you have a look at it for me? I don't want them saying, that lawnmower bloody broke down on me. I want my money back. I want them to come back to me to say, it broke down. Can you investigate the reason? If it's my fault, I'll repair it for nothing. If it's my fault. But after 2 weeks, you owe me money.
Yeah.
You know, it's a way of the world.
But I agree with the confidence piece too, going into the transaction. Mick, you'll love this. Ken, you'll love this because you know the backstory also. So it was, what day was it? Sunday when I sold the still, and I did some video for him. I don't know if he's going to end up doing anything with it. We'll see. But same thing. I had to go into that with some confidence piece because this character, now the advertisement we had written up for that still blower, it was solid. A solid advertisement. He's laughing.
We had to rebuild the damn thing.
But the guy tried to get me. Let's hear this one out. The guy got there and the guy tried to get me because that particular blower, the BR700, when they first came out, I didn't know. I did my homework on it before going to the transaction, and I missed that blower originally came with under the frame a mini little screwdriver that the buyers used to get to take off the frame.
Yeah.
And so this clown gets to the transaction and tries to think that he's going to negotiate the price because it doesn't have that little screwdriver. But thank God in the ad, I wrote like, as is, what you see in the advertisement is what you get. I had like 7 photographs. I listed what you're getting in the advertisement. And so he started bringing up an ad off the computer, off his phone. And I said, stop right there. I said, you drove like an hour and a half to get here. You knew what you were getting. I said, you could show me all the screwdrivers in the world. You're either going home empty-handed, or I said, you're taking this for my asking price because this isn't brand new. I said, you're not opening up a box from a box store right now. It has been used. I said, and the ad did not list that you were getting all the parts that it originally came with. It's as is. And sure enough, he said, you know what? You're absolutely right. We went through my ad again, all the pictures. And he said, you know what? You're right. And what is right is right. And so I stood firm on it. So
I would never, ever sell anything that says sold as is. Never. ever, because
No, I don't say as is. I don't say that.
I told him it was as is.
Yeah,
I would never say that.
I would stay well away from that phrase, because that means when it breaks down next week, you're on your own. That's what that means, and it puts people in.
I said it to him in person because he came from an hour and a half away and he didn't come to the house. We met somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
I was never seeing him ever again.
We had this chat. Anyone that's driving over an hour is either coming with the full amount of money or he's going home empty-handed. Anyone that comes 10 minutes away, they're in for a negotiation.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, the thing is, I agree. I respectfully agree, but disagree. I said as is during the transaction for two reasons. One, he was wasting my time at this point, flipping through his phone, showing me pictures of a brand new machine.
That's over $550.
I don't want you to show me a brand new machine because this isn't a brand new machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's wasting my time showing me my own advertisement. I don't need to see my advertisement. I know exactly what the pictures look like.
Yeah. Yep.
So now you're wasting time. You're not, I already told you we're not negotiating, and you've come an hour and a half. I knew we were not going to be lifelong partners at this point.
Yep.
It's either going to be a deal or no deal. And so that's why I use the term as is. But I agree with Sir. If you know this is going to be a possible relationship, I understand that. But for this guy, he was getting the as is. I don't want to hear from you, and we're not talking ever again. And he paid it and moved on. He paid it, and he was happy. He was happy.
As far as I'm concerned, anytime you're selling good equipment, which you guys do sell, there is always a risk because you're asking for good money.
Yep.
Good money.
Yeah.
And if you're selling at good money prices, people want a good product. And if the product isn't good, then that's where you may fail to a certain degree. When you're selling stuff which is half sensible, semi-reliable, and will do the job, you don't get any of that. You get none of that at all.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's a little things like you had that. What was that gold thing you had? That something gold.
Oh, the Craftsman Gold lawnmower that you got for free.
Yeah.
That's $50 all day long here. I'm just trying to see if I could squeeze some extra money out of it.
Yeah, I get it, but to me, advertising it as the gold version, as the gold label, that tells me as a buyer, this is the best of the best.
Yep. That's what Craftsman does. I'm just reiterating what they say.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, MTD does it too, right? MTD has their gold series.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But you're not a dummy that gets sucked into that in the shop, right? Because you won't ever buy a brand spanking new lawnmower, will you? Do you know what I mean? So the problem is when you're asking relatively good money for the gold version, they expect the gold version. You know, and the gold version, guess what, is no chuffing different to the silver version. It's the same thing. It's just another $40 more expensive for nothing.
Wait,
you know?
Nick,
you get a deck spout and oversized wheels.
Wait, Nick, shh. Don't tell him that, because when he does a good job and I give him a gold star, he gets so happy.
Oh, please.
So don't ruin my trick to getting him to do things.
If you got one of them little charts on the fridge, Jace, where you get a little smiley face when you've been a good boy.
Did you show them the fridge again?
Yep.
You're so cute.
But when I sell something, I explain this thing, through and through. Whether I'm asking $25 for it or I'm asking $500, the description of a $500 lawnmower gets the same treatment as the description of, let's just say, that Craftsman Gold lawnmower, right? It's going to say the brand. It's going to say the engine size. It's going to say the deck size. It's going to say, if it has oversized rear wheels, because it helps you with maneuverability, okay? And then I'm also going to say, because that's important, some people want to know if it'll fit in their car. So if the handles fold, I'll say that the handles fold for compact storage when not in use, and it could easily fit in your car. And then listen, if it's a 3-in-1, because you have your multi-side discharge, and bagging. I'll
You're
mention all
killing
that too.
Matt here.
Let
You're
me finish.
killing Matt.
And then they say it's fully serviced. Oil change, spark plug, air filter,
It's a
blade sharpened.
lawnmower. It's not a space shuttle. It does what it says on.
Hey,
And
the
Will
car.
folds
Let
your
me finish.
socks.
Hey, wait. And it has a built-in deck spout. Whoa. It has a built-in deck spout for easy cleanup after every use to ensure that you get a good clean cut every time and
Do
to
you know
preserve longevity of your lawnmower.
Do you know what I say when they say, will it fit in my car? Do you know what I say? For £90, I will make it bloody fit.
Matt, how are you?
I had to. I'm tired. I had to jump in here because I have a strong affinity for this topic, and it's the as is topic. And what it actually means is the ability and the right to contract.
Yeah.
So I am at liberty to sell crap on a shingle for $1,500 as long as the buyer knows exactly what he's getting. That's my right to contract, and it's the buyer's right to contract. Guess what? If you sell something as is, it is on the buyer to make darn sure it's exactly what they want and for the right price. So it's not sneaky, it's not underhanded. It just is the fact that, okay, I'm not offering a warranty with this. This is coming as is. Now, to Mick's point, if you are if you're Mick, then you might want to offer a warranty because you're going to get a couple of extra bucks. You're anticipating getting a couple of extra bucks. If you're selling something as is, then both the buyer and you are probably anticipating getting a few extra lower dollars. So
yeah.
I have a really strong feeling about this, and I tend to think that there are two sides to the story. Effectively, there are two sides that people fall on. Either you believe in the right to contract, or you believe in basically that the seller has to be forced to be honest. And I don't think I don't fall there. I fall on the fact that it is always buyer beware, no matter what you're doing. No matter, every single time it is buyer beware. Period. That's where my brain falls.
So you sell chainsaws. So when you sell a chainsaw in your ad, do you have as is, or you have no verbatim of anything like that?
It all depends. To be honest, I'm not really selling a whole lot of chainsaws anymore, mostly because I end up eating everything. And the guys that I sell to often wreck them in a day. So if I sell to a local guy, he has a lifetime warranty. And then I'm on the hook for all of it. So I try not to do a whole lot of selling anymore. It's just I really hate it when people show up the next day and be like, it broke, and it'd be like, it's on me because I didn't tighten the bolt, or I forgot the Loctite or something stupid. Which I didn't do, but I've seen so many dumb things happen. I'm very, very wary about offering warranties on anything anymore because there are really, really dumb things that do happen. Even when I put it together on videotape myself, something sneaks in there and wrecks the whole saw. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, well, anyway, it does
sorry.
happen. Part of my warranty is if the machine is to fail, as long as the machine is returned in the same condition it was when it left, then I will have a look at it for you. If there is a bolt if there's a bolt that's been loosened, if the pull cord assembly has been adjusted, or if the carburetor's got a bent spring on it, your warranty is void. You've touched the machine, and I know you have because guess what? I put the bloody thing together, so I know what I've done, and I videoed it as well. So there's lots of ways out. Over here in the UK, sold as seen, sold as is a right to contract. You're right there, but in the UK, it can be a very negative thing because people will see sold as seen is as a I have no comeback, and if this machine is dodgy or not up to standard, I am on my own. So I don't do sold as is. I do sold as fully working condition. That's how I sell. So they will fire the lawnmower up themselves. They will go up and down my lawn for 5 minutes. They will test it out, and I will say at the end of it, "Are you happy?" "Yes, I'm happy." That's our contract signed and sealed. And when it does come back, if it comes back, I just say, "You told me you were happy. You had your inspection. You tried it all out, and you were happy." And they say, "Okay, but this doesn't work now." Then bring it back. I will take a look at it for you. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I can fix it for you. It's going to cost you £35. Okay, mate. Yeah, cool. If you don't want to pay the £35, take it away again and go and get someone else to fix it. You sold it in a fully working condition and you inspected it. That's what it is.
That's the opening line to all my lawnmower ads. Because like on Craigslist or Facebook, there's lawnmower and then lawn space mower. So my ad will be Craftsman lawn space mower. And then when I type my description, my opening line will be lawnmower, one word. So I hit both of those. Needs nothing but a new owner, but grass to cut because it's ready to go. And then I start breaking down the specs of the lawnmower.
Yeah. It's always a dodgy market when you're selling anything second or third hand. It's the same as a car. My oldest son has just passed his driving test. He's now looking for a car. He found a nice little car actually up in this area where I am now. It was cheap. It was like £400, which is what it was $520, $530. And he said, "It looks really nice." I said, "Well, yeah, it's very cheap though, and what you're paying, you're not going to get a lot for your money, you know." And when he looked into the advert, he saw the reviews, and the bloke got some really bad reviews. The car broke down a day later, didn't reply back, and I had to spend £500 because the seller didn't want to get it repaired, and this, that, and the other. So anything that is in the second-hand market, there's always a margin that you sell it in good faith that it's running and it's doing what it should do. 2 days later, the operator goes out and runs it, and they just don't use it as they should do. And they're trying to cut grass which is 14 inches long, and they should be cutting when it's 3 inches long. It happens. So generally,
get a load of this.
I want to say maybe
it was last year.
Mid last year, I sell a hedge trimmer. Guy comes with his whole family decked out in their Sunday's best. And I normally don't ever sell from the house, but long story short, we're like on our way to church with his whole family. I said, "You know what? It's a hedge trimmer. Like, how bad could this be to sell from the house?" I had so much work to do for work. I'm like, I don't want to go meet him somewhere. It's fine. It was brand new practically. So I was smart enough though. I'm like, you know what? I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. I'm going to video this thing running and like take video of it all around to see how this thing operates before he comes.
Yeah.
And even when he has it running, I video him running it. He comes, loves it, pays for it. No questions asked. He has his kids in the car. "Oh, you're in education. I've got kids." Nicey nice, move on. We move on. The next day, he reaches out. "There's something wrong with it. I want my money back." Yada, yada, yada. No, I'm a fair person. You came to my house. I don't want any issues. Come on back. Let's take a look. This thing looks like it went to war. It's bent. He goes, "Look how you sold this to me. You were such an honest person yesterday." He definitely tried like cutting down a small tree with this thing.
Yeah. Instead of a chain, to use it as a chainsaw, not a hedge trimmer. The bait was freaking
it was
bent.
I turn around and I said, my friend. You know how like they like to say my friend?
Well, no, they don't deal with Spanish people.
I said, "Let me show you something special." I said, see the time and date on this video? This was yesterday. I said, "This is you." And he goes, "Oh, that's me." I said, "This is you in your suit running the machine. Look at the blade." I said, "Now look at the blade today." He literally looked at me. I'll see you. Bye bye. Thank you. Put it in the car and goodbye. Like, it's amazing what people will try to like bring back and think that like there's gonna be like some reconciliation on the repair, the price.
I sold a petrol powered jet wash last year. Nice one. It was old, but it ran really well. I know it ran really well because I sprayed out when I had my dogs. I sprayed my dog kennel out, which took me like 45 minutes. So I know it ran well because I had it running for 45 minutes solid. I sold it to this fella, and after about 2 hours, he texted back saying, "That bloody pressure washer you sold me has packed up. It's a load of crap." I said, "Bring it on back." So he brought it back, and he sort of threw it out on the driveway. And I said, "So what's wrong with it?" He said, "It doesn't start and it doesn't pump water through." I said, "Okay, cool." So I got my hose pipe, hooked it up, and I said, "There's no petrol in it." He said, "Yeah, well, it's probably evaporated." I said, "No." I said, "When it went, it had half a tank of juice in it." So I put some more petrol in, and it fired on straight up. I said, "What you've done here is a classic example. Is you bought something from me, you've then taken it home, you've jet washed your patio and your driveway, and now you're trying to return it." So this isn't a hire service; this is a purchase service. So I said, so put it back in the car and F off. And he sort of looked at me as if to say, you're not going to give my money back. I said, "You've used the device for what you want. So now you've used it, you want to return it?" No, it's not happening. So I picked it up and placed it on its side in the boot and said, "There you go, now off your skiddle." So off he went. He then texted me to say, "There's oil in the back of my boot." I said, "Well, that's what happens when you lay a washer on its side."
Yeah. You know what the problem is?
because I put it on its side on purpose. That's why. Get out of it.
The issue is we've become too much of a society. I'm not sure how it is over the pond, but here, go into a Home Depot, go to Lowe's, and try to stand in the return line to make a normal return. And the 10 customers in front of you are returning like all their equipment that they've like literally ran into the ground because they've done all their home projects.
Yeah.
And they've literally, I love it. They've literally installed like their home floors, and they've put up a house, and they've dug a trench in their backyard, and now they're done with the equipment and they're returning it. But people confuse the flippers and the sellers on Craigslist with the box store. There's a difference. And the sad part is people confuse the two, and they don't know where to draw the line sometimes. There was no receipt when they left Mix Mowers, and there's no receipt when they leave here. It's a big difference. It's a difference. They think they're going to pull the wool over your eyes,
It happens. Right, people, I have to go to work. That was a phone call. I've got to make the start, so I'll catch you later on.
See you, Mick.
Later, Mick.
Take care, Mick.
Bye-bye.
I had a riding mower come back. To me 3 times last spring.
Aw.
I think this is a great topic.
Wait, what was that? He just cut out.
I said I had a riding.
Matt, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I had a riding mower come back to me 3 times last year
Go ahead.
because it kept popping a blade or a belt off.
Cutting out. Is it? Maybe we're running low on battery again.
I can't hear.
The worst I ever had was when a guy bought a mower from me, decided he wanted to sharpen the blade after a couple weeks, put the blade on backwards, ran it all year like that. Came back at the end of the year, said, "This thing runs like crap." And I went on and I looked, he had a mulching blade, and the mulching part was sticking downward. And I was like, "Yeah, you were like tilling your soil, And then when I did that, he was so embarrassed because the edge I sharpened 3 months earlier was like brand new. So it happens all the time.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And nothing beats I think the best is snowblower season when we used to have snow. The customers that would use a snowblower once, and then miraculously it didn't work anymore, and they'd want, their money back on that too.
Well, that mower that kept coming back to me, it turned out that they had a bunch of roots in their yard, and the sun was going so fast the deck was bouncing up and down and kicking the belt off. Nothing I did.
It's just like frozen. Sorry, the mister's having trouble with his phone.
Low on battery.
Because he doesn't know how to charge it.
What do you mean? We've been on this phone for over an hour.
I know. I'm coming up on 2 hours, guys. A long stream.
We're not complaining. The phone.
I'm still fresh here.
Low on juice.
What do you got cooking, Matt? Anything?
I'm still waiting on parts. I just keep waiting on parts and parts and parts. And the other thing that I'm waiting on is I need to get down to the folks and do some MIG welding, but we're out of welding gas. So my welds look a little worse than usual. So, there's that problem. I don't know, like I've got that 394 to finish. I've got 288 to finish. I just finished that 630, which apparently Mason ran it today. That ran pretty good. So that's good. And what else? What else do I have to do? I'm off tomorrow, and I don't really have a clue as to what to do. So
relax. Take care of yourself.
Maybe me and
first.
Netflix. We get to be. Yeah, I know. But I gotta get outside. I gotta go do something. And I just that's just the thing. Gotta go do
what
something.
state are you in?
I think. By the way, back to the as is topic, because I think it's really interesting. I tend to think, and because this was a reasonable sized controversy with me a number of years ago, but I tend to think that the online forums are the ideal place to hold people to their contracts. So if you have trades that go on the online forums, the one thing is that it's not a good place to hold people to some nebulous standard, because as you can see, like arguing about what people do as far as what type of contracts they have can get a little dodgy, right? But what really is like the rock solid thing that you can sit on is what was the original contract. And one thing that eBay does is that if there is kind of a nebulous contract going on, then they don't side with the seller, they side with the buyer, which they have to do, So you automatically get a judgment in the buyer's favor, assuming that there's something dodgy going on, right? Well, I tend to think that the online forums are the ideal place to hold people to original contracts, and whatever that might be. Yes, you. So, my daughter here. We're talking with 4 different people at the same time. Well, technically, 4 right now.
Oh,
Plus
you'll
there's
make
other
number
people
5.
watching.
Hello.
Hi.
Meet Uncle Ed and Uncle Ken.
But Jason, Matt's up in Farmington, Connecticut, about an hour from
Anyway,
me.
so
okay. So you guys have the same climate per se of what we're going through right
Pretty
now.
much.
So it's like wild.
sort of, yeah. I'm more inland. Ken down by Ken is like one town away from my folks, so I do got to get down there one of these days.
Wow.
That's where the Bridgeport mill is and the lathe that I use to work on stuff.
My girlfriend.
It's funny. I also tend to think that with all the chainsaws in Bridgeport. Okay, that's right. Again, my folks in East and Bridgeport is right next to. It actually borders 7 towns. So there's Bridgeport, Trumbull, Westport, Weston, Reading, Fairfield. Am I missing any, Ken? Monroe.
But it doesn't border Westport or West. Bridgeport borders Trumbull, Fairfield, Easton, Monroe, Fairfield, and Stratford.
Easton borders 7.
And Easton, yeah.
Easton borders 7 towns.
Yeah, yep. Oh, Easton,
yeah.
I'm sorry, yep.
Well,
but Chris, in Bridgeport, where's your friend? Because we used to have a vet, Brookside vet.
She is. Oh, I'm terrible with directions up there because she just she was in Hartford and just relocated to Bridgeport, but she is like on a farm. They see everything from like a guinea pig to like Oh God.
Yeah, but
like,
Bridgeport isn't really known for farms.
they've got farm, like a bit of acreage where she is. So I don't know where
Really?
in Bridge. Yeah, I haven't even been there yet at the new place.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on call. Like it's like a full 24/7 on call. There's 2 doctors in the practice there. So yeah, I'll tell her where you guys are located, and I'll have to see like how far you guys would be from her. I'm probably messing up her location.
Yeah, because when I say Bridgeport is more of a.
Let me message her. Oh no, are we losing them?
Yeah, I'm
farm in Bridgeport.
close to 10 minutes outside of Hartford. And I live right on the highway too. So I'm right close to the highway. So it's a nice get on, get off. So for Craigslist, it works great. I'm just not doing as much with Craigslist anymore. Selling $500 chainsaws that blow up because a head bolt comes loose is a pricey venture.
I tell you, Facebook Marketplace is lightning fast. You put something on there and you get 100 responses in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't know if this is going to make any sense. I did mess it up. She just messaged. She's living in Bridgeport, and how far is this then? She's living in Bridgeport, but the veterinary clinic is located in Roxbury?
Yeah, Roxbury is about 25 minutes from Bridgeport.
Oh, so it's not far. Okay.
No.
So
Roxbury has
does that
tons
make
of
more
farms.
sense?
Roxbury is beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would that
Roxbury's
make
up
more
north.
sense if they have more land there, though? Like, does that?
Oh, there's tons of farms in Roxbury.
Okay. Sorry. I knew I'd messed that one up. So yeah, they're living in Bridgeport, but the veterinary clinic is Roxbury. But she said
about
she
25
said it's
25 miles away.
Nice. But remember when you were asking about taking the ferry here? So to go to her, that's how we discovered with her old place, it wasn't worth taking the ferry over. Like it just makes sense to drive. So, but you know what I'm thinking, Ken?
Yeah.
So as much as I'm so excited, like we totally have to do the Henry and you coming here.
Oh yeah,
thing.
that'd be fun.
I'm kind of beyond excited one day that we need to come see you if Matt lives this close to you too.
Well, you don't need me. Just go there. I'll give you cash. You guys can have a grand old time. I'll have the weekend to myself. Deal.
Fine. We don't need
Actually, Chris, I need to arm wrestle your husband. I'm looking at him going, you know what? That could be fun. You and me, buddy. Let's do it.
Well, you guys
No
are about
wrestling
hey,
needed.
I've been to Maddie's place. You guys are about the same size, so.
I'm 5'6". Don't let my truck fool you. I'm 5'6".
He's
Overcompensating.
He's a little guy.
I'm 5'9".
You've got height on him then.
Opposite, yeah.
I'll thumb wrestle you.
I'd definitely like to get together with Henry though, because I'd like to actually talk to him about branding.
Let's be honest, he's probably going to charge you to
branding because he's
branding. Henry can't take the businessman out of himself, I don't think. He's a good guy though. He's a good guy, but he's all about his the business end of it. That's for sure.
You just have to go out and market yourself, and that's what Henry did. I mean, there is no secret to what Henry did. Henry just reached out to a bunch of companies. What I do, this is my channel. What can you do for me? And
I lost my signal. Sorry for that.
He got really lucky with Lucas. I mean, he really hit it out of the park with that. He really.
Oh yeah. Hey, when was the last time you saw a guy who's fixing lawnmowers get sponsored by a major oil manufacturer? I mean, I've never seen that.
Well, here's the other thing. If you go on YouTube or if you go on Lucas's website, they have every market covered except for small engines. And then Henry came along.
Yeah.
And he's covered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Lucas is covered that way. So, I mean, it's just, he was the first to flight.
Yeah, they sponsor everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if you have like, if like we use Seafoam a lot, at some point I might reach out to Seafoam, be like, hey, listen, I've been using your Seafoam products in my videos. Not like, you want to work something out, because Seafoam is expensive.
Well, Matt does the same thing with one of his parts suppliers, HL Supply. He's got a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Nikki Walsh is in your comments, and he brings up a valid point. He says that Matt cranks 200 psi saws. Watch out. I might have to start cranking saws, so maybe I can arm wrestle Matt one day. Nikki might have to start watching.
Remember, it's not about the cranking the
lives.
Just keep in mind, Nikki's over in Ireland.
Remember,
so 1 in the morning over there.
But Pete Froud, if you come over here to the States, we have multiple guest bedrooms. We will keep you all here. I promise. Do I not keep a great couple of best guest bedrooms for our guests? We have every holiday. We host every holiday at the house, and I have multiple guest bedrooms set up, ready to go. Ken, if you come and you want to stay, when you come and do filming, I make a good breakfast, a good dinner, and you can come stay as well. So Pete, come on over.
One night you're going to hear the door knocking. Me and Matt are going to be at the door.
A small engine party. We have 7 bedrooms.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
All right, guys, I think I'm going to cut it. It's over 2 hours. And I got to see what's for dinner.
This was that. I don't even know how this came about. I think we got.
It started out me ranting and raving. I was ranting and raving about a weed whacker I was working on tonight. There was a piece of garbage the guy from work gave me to fix. Looked like he got out of the trash. So I called this Small Engines Sometimes Suck, figuring to talk about people's experiences with crappy small engines. Then Mick chimed in, and him and I start going. And then once people saw Mick was on, the floodgates opened. That was it.
No, we got notification that Ken went live, and I said, "Is this a mistake? We're used to seeing Ken on Sunday." I said, "Let me go check it out."
Yeah, but I said to Mick, I don't know if I should make like Sunday as my standard or what. But tonight, I was so frustrated with this weed whacker. I got it going and everything, but I was frustrated. I said,
just go for it.
So,
Ken, today was one of those days that today I had delegates from New York State Education Department come down, and I was sitting on that panel today. This was the best part of the day, besides the children I work with. But
as long as it's not Cuomo.
This gave me some good laughs. Matt, you're like becoming another favorite of mine now.
Uh-oh.
So, who cares what day you go on? You just made my day. So we talked about knickers, Coronas, whackers, and selling mowers. Like, it doesn't get better than that. So,
but to make a long story short, what you were saying about your weed whacker, I have a gentleman who I kept repairing his weed whacker, but he's a legend, like Pull a Bear in. I call the older guys at my job legends because they know anything and everything, right? I can only hope that I can remember what they forgot. So they have crappy tools. One guy got me so mad, I went out and bought him an electric one. Got him a battery-powered weed whacker. It was the best decision I ever made. I saved money in the end because I didn't have to waste so much time.
The newer battery ones are actually pretty nice. So, all right, guys, I'm going to call it quits. So thanks all for showing up. And Matt, if you go on later or whatever, I'll be around. So, all right, guys, thanks for showing up. Take care, everyone.
We'll chat soon. Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ed.